What's up, everyone? Welcome back to How Was This Fake? It's me, TJ, joined by the California Dream champion, Oscar Felix. Welcome to the show, Oscar. Thanks for coming
Gra-
on.
Gracias, gracias. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's always great to have a champion here. Now, you have your let me get this is your first title defense on Saturday, right?
That would be correct, yes.
We talked to your opponent, Jake Redondo, and he had a little bit he had some things to say. I know you saw him. What do you think? What are you thinking going into Saturday?
Get the boys here, eh? What can I tell you? Sinceramente, sincerely, best of my ability, this is what I can genuinely tell you. Okay? I get it. I understand. There's wear and tear on the body. But if I'm being perfectly honest, I wasn't aware of his medical history prior to all his crying and complaining. If he wants to feed you and everybody at home an excuse as to why he comes up short of the margin, that's fine by me. But if he wants to talk about cutting corners, he'll find that I do more than cut corners. I'll gladly and happily cut a few years off the tail end of his career.
Oh, yikes. It did it bother you that much, or you're just out to make a statement?
It didn't bother me until he mentioned cutting corners. Oscar
Mm.
Felix has never cut a corner ever in his entire professional wrestling career. Never, not once ever. I'm a mark of excellence. There's a reason I proudly proclaim myself as firstborn and God given. Okay. So when you insult me, you insult the merit of my personal investment in this profession and say, guys like him, they won't last that long in this career. Maybe I'll last a little bit, just a touch longer than he will. Just maybe. I don't know. Given the circumstances.
Yeah, you so I don't know, I didn't really dig into that when the cutting corners comment when he was on the show. Maybe he was thinking about the way that you won the California Dream Championship. You cashed in a contract that you rightfully earned, but some would say that it was a cheap opportunity. What do you say to the haters who say that?
A cheap opportunity. My sincere apologies. There was nothing cheap about it. I won that contract fair and square. Okay. In the middle of that ring. And anytime you take a risk, right? Such as taking that investment and trying to get a return on that investment, you always run the risk of a loss. At any point in time in that match, things could have turned around very ugly for me, especially when I first stepped foot in the ring to cash it in, right? I got knocked out of the ring, thrown down and out. Maybe you counted me out then and there, but the bell hadn't rung yet. I was still in, and I still brought the fight to my opponents. My sincere apologies to Raymond Bright for getting the better of him. But can anyone blame me for putting myself in a financially prominent position and becoming your new California Dream champion? Can anyone truly blame me? Because
I could
the difference
I could blame
between
you.
me, right? You can't blame me. And the difference between myself, the disparity between a lot of people in this profession is that al fin del día, at the end of the day, I'm at least willing to be honest with myself and honest with the fans, right? Other men, lesser men, would say they wouldn't have done it that way. And they're liars. That's what they are. Liars. Not me. Not firstborn, not God given. No, never not me.
You're obviously reeking of confidence, and I very much appreciate that, especially as a host. It makes my job easier. But I'm curious, was that confidence, you say firstborn, God given, was that confidence God given, or did you have to find that along the way in your wrestling journey?
You know, if I'm being honest, it's been there from the beginning. But if I'm equally being honest with myself, the people around me, the people that have seen me and watched me throughout the last couple of years that I've been on the independent scene, it definitely took me a while to find it. It had always been there, but it took me a while to find it. I don't know what it was. I can't possibly tell you. You see, I said it from the very beginning, from my very first match ever. God blessed me with an able body by which to best my opponents. Esa no es una mentira, es la verdad. It's the truth. right? Unlike Jake Redondo, I got two good, perfectly functionally healthy legs, right? And
That's
maybe
true.
I don't have the gift of the gab. Maybe I don't have the candor that other people do in this business, right? Maybe I'm not the best on the mic, but that confidence you speak of, I found it over time. Once I stopped apologizing, right? Once I stopped forcing myself to fit in, right? Once I started becoming honest with myself that this is a business. And at the end of the day, what's best for business, what's best for Oscar Felix, isn't always the best for everyone, just like Raymond Bright before me, right?
Just since I've been, you know, a fan of DreamSlam, I've seen Alan Breeze, Raymond Bright, and now yourself as California Dream Champion. How do you think you can distinguish yourself as the best of them all?
Yo pienso, ¿verdad? I think, and I mean this with the utmost genuine sincerity that I could ever hope to foster, right? I think that I can separate myself and distinguish myself from those gentlemen in a more prominent position, right? They carried the California Dream Championship and they embodied it. Sure, that's all well and good, but I plan on carrying more than the California Dream Championship. I plan on carrying Dream Slam wrestling on my back to the best of my ability, and you will find it in due time that this reign is more than the beginning. It's just another chapter.
Man, dude, I can't get past the outfit because it's so cool, and I'm just sitting here in my sweatpants and Alice in Chains t-shirt, and you're looking like $1 million over there.
Gracias, gracias.
Is that just how champions present themselves, or am I a slob? What is it? I need to get
No,
on your level.
no. You're fine. You're fine. It's okay.
Okay.
Listen, you're fine. You're doing a wonderful job as a host. You're doing a great job. Listen, not everyone is built to carry a championship. And even then, even if you do have a championship, not everyone carries themselves with that level of refinement and distinguishment, ¿verdad? Al fin del día, ¿cómo te lo puedo explicar? No todos tienen esa mentalidad, right? Not everyone has that mentality to present themselves, right? To carry themselves well in the same way they carry the championship, in the same way they carry the company. And I do the best of my ability. Mind you, I'm still new to the business, but I still do the best that I possibly can and present myself as such for the respect that I have ever so deeply for this business.
I would love to dig a little deeper into that. You said you're fairly new still to the business. Can you tell us when you started, when you hopped on the scene, when you started training, all that kind of stuff?
Hmm. I started training, creo, Julio, around July 2022. That's when I joined Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, and I did not debut until, now, depends on whom you ask. I personally believe I debuted in November, around the time that I started wrestling for Epic Pro. But uh, Che Cabrera will tell you otherwise. Uh, and at this point, I'm no longer ever going to argue with Latino meat. But uh, I debuted with Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy, a Night of the Human Death match against one James Brady. And if I'm being honest, back then, eh, I had a bit of an injury myself. I understand what it's like to be a one-legged man. Uh, a horse at the limp, you got to put him down. But I went out there and I showed out to the best of my ability against James Brady. And in the beginning, sinceramente, nomás quise una lucha, just one match. That's all I ever wanted was one match. But since then, I've been afforded the privilege and the luxury to continue my profession, right? My profession of choice. And as of Night of the Human Death match, uh, this upcoming show, which would be not this weekend, but the week that follows, that would be the beginning of my third year. So we're
Wow.
about 2 years and change in. And I'd say I'm doing pretty well for myself regarding that matter.
I'd say so. Is this the first championship you've held, or have you held others before?
Uh, no, this is not the first championship I've held. I did, however, debut with DreamSlam uh, almost a year ago against Wicked Wicked for the heavyweight championship, and that could have been my first title. It was close, so close, but Wicked definitely got the better of me back then. Maybe one day I get to run it back with him. We'll see what happens. But having said that, not long after that, around I want to say December for East Los Lucha, I went one-on-one, toe-to-toe with Triple A's Excalibur for the East Los Cruiserweight Championship. At the time, it was an interim championship because the reigning defending champion Eli Everfly was uh, founding himself around an injury at the time. So he didn't quite vacate it. He just needed some time off to rest, recover, and then defend his belt. Um, but I was blessed and fortunate enough que al fin de todo eso, ¿verdad? When he came back to finally defend his championship against my interim championship, I unified those championships, right, to become the East Los undisputed cruiserweight champion, and I had a very healthy title reign with the East Los Luchas. So, is this the first? No. But is this the last? Definitely not. A wonderful addition to my collection, if you do say so myself.
Jake Redondo is a big friend of our podcast. He's been on a lot. Um, but I gotta disagree with him with his comment about cutting corners because just talking to you these last couple minutes, you seem like a confident, hard worker, a champion who appreciates being champion, and you're out to make a name for yourself, but you're also out to make a name for DreamSlam Wrestling and that championship right there. I got to give it to you. I think I'm bestowing to you a title that we give to a lot of people, but I would like to give it to you, friend of the podcast.
Oh, otro título. Bien bonito. Gracias, te lo agradezco. Sinceramente, I genuinely thank you for that. Another title to my beautiful collection.
This one will probably, you can throw this in the junk drawer of your title rack because we don't have like an actual physical thing to give you. But you know, wow. Like
No te preocupes.
what would you like to tell our audience about you that they might not know already just by listening to you on our show for the first time?
Mm. Algo que les quiero decir. A ver. Mm. Ser sincero, algo que les quiero decir. Maybe, just maybe, like Redondo outlined, maybe I don't have a long career in this profession, right? Maybe I don't. Who's to say, right? Uh, you never know when your last match really is until you take that last match, right? But regardless of the length of my career, I think it's worthwhile that you take note and have an eye on my career because there's no telling just how far I can go, right? No telling. I never once thought that after my first match, that at the tail end of my first year in this profession, that I would be the East Los undisputed cruiserweight champion. And I never once thought that I would carry that belt as long as I did. And I never once thought that I'd find myself at the tail end of more success. So if anyone, everyone watching at home wants to know a little bit about me, just a little something extra, there's a depth to the sincerity by which I approach this profession. So feel free to watch along and enjoy the ride.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to ask our California Dream champion, Oscar Felix, one more question. What do you want to say to Jake Redondo before Saturday?
Oh, este mensaje, sinceramente, es para ti, ¿eh? Oye, 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 cómo chingas y cómo ladras, ¿eh? Lloras y lloras y lloras. You cry, and you cry and complain. How about this Saturday at Pale Ale Works? I give you something to cry about. because I'll do more than cut a few corners. Maybe, just maybe, I cut a few years off the tail end of your career. That way you can carry a little bit of me with you until the bitter end in that shoddy little knee of yours. Porque te lo juro, te lo prometo, I swear to you, I promise you, que al fin del día, at the end of the day, the radiant sun pales in comparison. The firstborn God-given son, Oscar Manuel Felix. Porque si no sabes, ya sabes. If you don't know, now you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have anything else. I wish Miggy was here because I'm all out of everything. Please show up, hang out with me, watch this crazy match that is going down on Saturday and all the other matches at DreamSlam Wrestling's Hell of a Night at Noble Ale Works in Anaheim. Remember, it's not GameCraft, it's Noble Ale Works now. I'm sure the beer's going to be just as good, but I will be there. Find me under the banner of power. I'm so excited for this match. Champ, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Can you
Gracias.
tell the people where to follow you if they want to learn more about you?
Mm. Todo con tiempo. But if you want to follow me for now, right, you can follow me on Instagram at El Oscar Felix. That's EL Oscar Felix. You can also follow me on Twitter under the same handle. In due time, we are planning on actually starting a website. That way we can thread everything there at oscarfelix.com. And maybe in due time, you'll find a YouTube channel or something. That way we can curate some things. And you can watch along, follow along with the utmost genuine sincerity that I could ever hope to foster. Pero ahí ya sabes, eh?
Dude, thank you so much for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you Saturday. It has been another great interview here on How Is This Fake? We will catch you on the next one. Take it easy.